BJ Mafia was popping. So the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Buffalo Bills today 25-20 in London. The Jaguars improved to 3-2 on the season. The Bills dropped to 3-2 on the season. The Jaguars win back-to-back games in London. They're going to be coming back to the United States above 500. And the Buffalo Bills, who were coming off an extremely emotional and huge win over an AFC East opponent, they dropped this game to the Jaguars. Now, before I really start talking about the Buffalo Bills, because I always talk about the opponents in these recap videos, let me say a couple of things first and foremost. The first thing is the gripe with the referees in this game for both the Jaguars and the Bills. This game was almost unbearable and unwatchable for the casual NFL fan. 19 penalties in this game thrown for 165 yards. You had 8 on the Jaguars, you had 11 on the Bills. It was just too much penalties, too much, I guess, confliction going on between the refs and the actual gameplay. Let these guys go out there and play the damn game of football. Now look, I understand a lot of these penalties were warranted. I'm not talking about unnecessary roughness. I'm not talking about false start penalties. I'm just saying in general, 19 penalties called. It's unbearable. Let me say that. Second thing is, with all of these players getting injured, man, first of all, I don't know what was going on. Maybe it was the turf. Maybe some of it had to do with the travel. Maybe it's just the game of football. But it really sucks seeing how many players, especially on the Buffalo Bills defense, was consistently getting injured. It just breaks your heart, and it just makes the game not as enjoyable, and you feel for these athletes. So I also just wanted to put that out there first and foremost. Now let me actually go ahead and talk about the Buffalo Bills on their side of the ball before I really start talking about the Jaguars and how excited I am about this performance and what I saw. For the Bills, let's start on offense. Bills quarterback Josh Allen, for the most part, he did his thing today, and he gave his team every ounce of strength that he had in his bones. He threw 27 of 40, 359 yards. He had 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. And while that ball was underthrown to Stefon Diggs across the side of the field, Darius Williams made a hell of a play on that ball. Josh Allen, I thought, did a really great job today. The Bills' running game, non-existent today. They had 14 carries for 29 yards, even though you did have Josh Allen get in the end zone at the end of the game with that late push to give them at least some kind of hope towards the end of the game. In the receiving department, Stefon Diggs absolutely cooked the Jaguars secondary. 8 receptions for 121 yards and that tutty. Gabe Davis, shout out to the UCF product, 6 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown. I believe that's now 4 straight games Gabe Davis has a consecutive touchdown. Just a great job overall by Josh Allen and the Bills offensively, for the most part, at least giving their team some light towards the second half and towards the end of the game. They really gave it everything that they had. Defensively, for the Buffalo Bills, while this team was depleted, you had no Tre'Davious White, who had a season-ending injury. He tore his Achilles back in Week 4 versus the Dolphins. You had no Gregory Rousseau. You had Von Miller on a snap count. AJ Epinesa, I swear, played the game of his life today. He was phenomenal. Kaiir Elam made his season debut. Ed Oliver was all over on the interior of the defensive line. And I just got to give some love to AJ Epinesa. Let me read off his stats. 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 of them were solo, and 3 pass deflection. He also had 2 quarterback hits. What a hell of a game by AJ Epinesa. Ed Oliver, like I said, 9 total tackles today, 1 sack, 3 tackles for a loss, and 2 quarterback hits. Just a phenomenal job by the Bills front 7, and we know how great they are. I think Matt Milano left the game. I don't even need to keep going on. It just sucks seeing all these injuries, no matter what side you're rooting for, man. And I just wanted to give some love really quickly to Sean McDermott and the Bills team, because considering the circumstances, traveling on Thursday evening, getting to the United Kingdom, probably sometime around Friday morning early, and then having to, quickly bounce back and kind of get acclimated on top of all the injuries, you got to give them a lot of credit. They're still a perennial contender in the AFC. And when Bills quarterback Josh Allen is playing his best football, he's damn near unstoppable, and he played a very good game today. He didn't maybe play as great as, his ceiling can be, like we saw in Week 4, which is a mirage, right? Having a perfect passer rating, but Josh Allen still gave his team an opportunity to win. Now, let's talk about the Jaguars and the winning football team, man. Hell of a game by Jacksonville. They left so many points out there on the board, so many points on the field, but they were still resilient, and great teams find a way to win no matter the circumstances. Let's talk offensively for the Jaguars, because Trevor Lawrence, aka Mr. Sunshine, the prince that was promised, Jacksonville's Jesus, put the team on his back when we needed it the most, and number 16 went out there and got the job done. Fun fact really quickly, Trevor Lawrence is now 2-0 versus Justin Herbert and Josh Allen in his career. Trevor Lawrence today, 25 of 37, 315 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 5 times, but he did have a 102.9 quarterback rating. Rushing the ball, Travis Etienne, man, one of the most explosive players in the NFL. 26 carries, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had that 35-yard run in late in the game. Hell of a game by Travis Etienne. And then in the receiving department, this is what you wanted to see from this Jaguars offense, how potent and dynamic and explosive it could be. And they proved it in week 5. It took a little bit of time to get the training wheels off through the first 4 weeks of the season, but man, did they come out and dominate this week. Calvin Ridley, 7 receptions, 122 yards. Christian Kirk, 6 catches for 78. Travis Etienne, 4 for 48. Evan Ingram, 4 of 28. The ball's getting distributed and it's going everywhere across the field. The Jaguars have playmakers, and I hope Zay Jones, I hope you get better, man. After coming back, after missing the last 2 weeks, man. Just an absolutely dynamic playmaker for the Jaguars on the outside. Mr. Reliable. Defensively for the Jaguars, I got to give them a lot of props as well, too. They held the Kansas City Chiefs in week 2 to 17 points. They hold the Buffalo Bills to 20 points and one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL. Rayshon Jenkins was all over the field. Darius Williams had a very, slow and lethargic first half. He bounced back in a big way in the second half with that interception, with that huge tackle in the open field on that 2-point conversion. You had, Josh Allen, who had a sack on Josh Allen, but that was called for a penalty. Don't even need to get into it. Trayvon Walker was creating some pressure. And then the rest of the secondary for the Jaguars did their thing. Mike Caldwell came in with a great game plan. They limited the Buffalo Bills on a multitude of occasions, 3 and outs, consistently getting stops and playing physical. Look, there's some things to clean up like always, and when I go back and rewatch the tape, rewatch the game, I'm gonna have a lot more better of an analysis of this. This is just my first takeaways, man. I'm just so excited for this Jags team, man. It was never in doubt. It was always the Jags, and we are a perennial contender in the AFC, man. The Jaguars are gonna be coming back to the United States. They got the Indianapolis Colts up next in Jacksonville. And you know what, man? This is now a good opportunity to go 4-2 and continue this momentum moving forward, man. Let's celebrate this win. Let's continue just to stay focused, move forward. And Jags fans, man, I'm just feeling on top of the world. Bills fans, Jags fans, I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed that win, man, make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. It takes 1 second, and it helps me and the channel out tremendously. If you guys are also new here, consider hitting that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Jaguars content that I do here on YouTube. And make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me on my socials, especially on Twitter. I'm very active and I'm on there every single day. The link tree will be in the description down below so you guys can check that out. But thanks again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, aka BJ. I'm out, y'all. Go Jags. And last thing, Jaguars Josh Allen clears Bills Josh Allen. Let's go Jags, baby. Peace.